I think we're in. Are we live? I think we're live. Johan's here, Mug's here. My voice, wow, yeah. So it might sound like my voice is starting to go. My voice is starting to go. It's like I swallowed a razor blade. Yeah, so I got back from the Gaming Rules meetup. Thank you very much to everybody who came to the Gaming Rules meetup. It was as expected, but yeah, really, really good. Really good meetup. The only problem with it was the fact that there were too many people there and then not enough people to actually get into the room itself. And some people ended up having to sit outside the room. So yeah, apologies if that was one of you. I had asked to try and get an idea of how many people were coming ahead of time. And there were a lot of people who turned up who I wasn't expecting to turn up. And it was great that they were there. But yeah, a lot of people who I didn't even know knew about the meetup who were there. So yeah, there was a lot of people at the meetup, and it was great. I had a really good night. I had a really great night, and that's the main thing. So Paul's Daily Diary Part 3. Yeah, today went well. We had breakfast, no problems. I worked out how to use the shower. So yeah, had breakfast. Got a 12-inch Subway, which I put in my rucksack, as I'm pretty much doing standard every morning because I hate getting hungry and not having food there when I need it. So basically every morning, go to the Subway, get a 12-inch sub, and then put it in the rucksack where it stays until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But yeah, at least then I've got it there for when I'm hungry. And then went to the CGE booth and I demoed Under Falling Skies for 2 hours. Now, I was debating whether or not to do any demoing over this Essen for CGE. And yeah, I finally decided with about a week to go or maybe 2 weeks ago, that I would be happy doing some demoing for CGE. And the main reason for that is because I love demoing games. I absolutely love demoing games to either people I know or complete strangers. And I'm just so passionate about teaching people games in person. I mean, I'm passionate about teaching people games, on camera and things like that. But doing it in person, I think I'm in my element, and I get such a kick out of it, such a buzz out of it. And I'm really glad that I agreed to do a couple of hours demoing for CGE because that gives me that buzz. And demoing Under Falling Skies, great game, love the game, and demoing it to people is really good. CG have done a big sort of 3D version. They've printed it out, and that's that was really good to demo it on. And I've not demoed games to people at conventions for 18 months. When would have been the last time I demoed a game to somebody at a convention? Probably would have been HandyCon January 2020. And even that was me sat at a table demoing in the game. Now, I really enjoy that, but demoing a game where I'm actually stood on my feet and I'm able to move around and, stuff like that is just really, really good. So that went really well. And the first 2 hours of the day flew by. I did about 4 demos, maybe 5 demos or something like that. Jerome came by, asked me if I wanted to play Imperial Assault, and then gave me a pack of Stroop waffles, which I have put safe somewhere. I don't quite know where they are, but they are safe somewhere. So thank you very much to Jerome for the Stroop waffles. And today has been a day, rather than me give you a breakdown of what happened, today has been a day where I've done, obviously, a bit of demoing for CGE. I've helped out the Detective Society on their booth a couple of times when they needed a little bit of help. But other than that, I've been fairly free. Now, that doesn't mean I get to wander the halls and demo games, because there's a lot of people that I want to see, and there's a lot of people who I want to go and speak to and things like that. So Ralph from Hall Games came to see me and apologized again that Bonfire expansion was not there. He didn't need to apologize. He'd already let me know. And yeah, the Bonfire expansion was due to be at Essen, but then he got told about 5 or 6 days ago, I think, literally very, very short notice. Oh, by the way, you're not going to get your game. No, there's some problem with the wooden components, and you're going to have to wait 3 months. So he's very glad that he didn't have a booth here this year. The game was going to come in and it was going to be sold at various retailers and everything. But yeah, and if he'd have had a booth, he would have been there with no product or anything. So yeah, Ralph came to see me from Hull Games, and then I spent the day going around various publishers, saying hello to people, some of whom I know, some of whom I've met before, like Jamie Jolly from Shadowborn Games. Had a look at Oathsworn, which is a game that I worked on professionally, and that was the first time I've really seen it, the current version of it, you know, in the flesh, as it were. And the rule books that took half of my life away, seeing the physical copies of those in print and looking through them and seeing what the because I only did the text of the rule book. Once it got to layout, I wasn't involved in that process, so it was really good to see that. So yeah, lots of people that I went to see, to say hello to and have a bit of a catch up with. A lot of patron supporters as well. Thank you very much for people for coming to see me and everything else. And I've spent quite a lot of the time this afternoon with Mike, Michael, and Chris from Ready Steady Play. And we got a game. So I've actually played a game at Essen. Might be the only one that I play in the next 3 days, but I have played a game, and this is Alltree. I will put it in the chat in case my pronunciation isn't right. Now, Alltree is a game from Studio H, designed by Antoine Bowser and another guy whose name I don't recognize. I don't know how much of a co-design it is, because the other guy is apparently the guy who did the role-playing game, which I think this is based on. Me, Mike, Michael, and Chris played this together. We got a demo of it at the Studio H booth, and we played through effectively scenario 1, which is a shorter, lighter scenario to get you involved in the game. We all enjoyed it. I have brought a copy back with me. It is a cooperative game. It has a fantasy theme, and there is a narrative element to it as well, but it is one of these which is replayable. It means obviously the story narrative you will go through each time, but there's lots and lots of different cards that come out, and they're randomly placed on various locations. And yeah, basically what you're doing in this game is what are you doing? Well, you're moving around, you're helping rebuild a fortress, story cards come out, things like that. But yeah, we all enjoyed Alltree, and I think a number of other. It's not actually out yet for sale. They had press copies only. So I got a copy. Mike managed to get a copy from Ready Steady Play. But when he first told me about Alltree, I was like, this sounds familiar. I think a number of other content creators have covered it on the channel. So Studio H, over the last month or so, I think have sent out copies to certainly some American reviewers. And I've seen people talking about this game and posting pictures of it. Anyway, so that's Alltree. That will be coming home with me. I don't know whether it'll be coming home in the first batch, which are the ones that I'm physically going to be bringing with me, or it will come later on. Now, Tearbolt from Studio H also gave me a copy of Suspects, which if you want to look it up on BGG right now, it's literally called Suspects. He had been telling me a little bit about this game, but I didn't know very much about it, and I'm actually just going to look it up on BGG now, because I want to tell you something about it. But it's late, I'm tired, and I've been at the meetup, and I've lost my voice, and I can't remember that much about it. I think he said it's another detective style game, so I already know I'm going to like it from that point of view. Suspects, Unusual Suspects, no, Suspects 2021. There we go. Solve murder mysteries in worlds inspired by Agatha Christie. That was it. He was saying it's basically it's got an Agatha Christie feel about it. So it is 60 to 90 minutes, 1 to 8 players. Yeah, so probably 2 to 3. It's a range of investigation games with streamlined rules and plots centered on the psychology of the characters in the style of Agatha Christie's novels. Who knows? But yeah, it's another one of these detective games. So me and Vicky are going to enjoy playing it. And yeah, we will see. I'm just having a look to see if there's any videos on it. Fantasy Nerd 8 did a video 3 days ago on it. But other than that, that's the other game that I picked up today. I also picked up. You might not have heard of this game. It's a small game. The designer's quite new. I don't think he's done very much. Great Western. It looks a bit rubbish, to be honest. I don't know much about this, but I'll give it a go. I'll see if it's any good or not. Anyway, yes, Great Western Trail, 2nd edition. I have a copy now. the biggest surprise about this game was, considering the component upgrade from first edition, we have dual layer player boards, we have cowboys with different hats on, if you can see that. It's definitely a component upgrade. Now, games have gone up in price. Games have definitely gone up in price. This was 45 euros. They are now sold out, but this was 45 euros. That, in my opinion, is a very good price for this game. Yeah, because, as I say, there are other games at the fair that are 55, 60 euros. And yeah, Great Western Trail. So second edition. Also, I had a very good meeting with Plan B Games. I used to have a contact at Plan B Games, but they moved on to other things. And then I tried to get another contact at Plan B Games who didn't ever get back to me. I've since found out he's no longer working for the company. But I had a meeting with Martin from Plan B Games. It was a really good meeting. I introduced myself. We'd spoken over email a little bit, but not really that much. And I introduced myself and who I am, what I do, the role that I play in the industry, but also my role as a content creator. And I've got a relationship now with somebody at Plan B Games, which, considering there's going to be 2 more Great Western Trail games in the next 2 years, makes me very, very happy. So yeah, Great Western Trail. That's the only other. I didn't pick up that many games today. I picked up a few games. Tomorrow is the day where I'm going to be walking around and doing a few other things as well. But yeah, played Ultra. Then what happened? The meetup. Went to the meetup. Had a chicken schnitzel with mushroom sauce. And yeah, it was really good to see people at the meetup. And as I say, if you were at the meetup and you're watching this either now or afterwards, thank you very much for coming. As with all of these meetups, I don't know how many people were in that room, 60, 70. It was busy. It was a busy meetup, and there was lots of people there. There was a good mix of patron supporters, old friends, people I hadn't seen for a while, publishers. Devere Games were there, Board and Dice were there, Chip Theory Games were not there, CGE was there, Peter from Laser Rocks, the wooden insert people, he brought his whole team. So yeah, really, really good night. And people like Mike Nudd was there, and yeah, lots of people that it was good to see. I spent a lot of time talking to Dave Neal tonight, who I've spoken about a number of times before, designer of the green box of Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that. So yeah, didn't even know he was going to be at the convention. And met him outside the train station this morning, chatted to him then, and yeah, I basically walked back from the meetup with him. Dave came to the meetup at the start and stayed for the whole duration. So yeah, that was really good. Bit of a funny story at the meetup. So probably about 2 or 3 hours into the meetup, a number of people had their food and that started to disappear. So there were some tables starting to become free. And there was a couple of guys that came in and they headed down and they grabbed a table and they kind of looked at me and waved. And obviously the situation is I have a number of patron supporters who I've not met, and I wouldn't know what they look like, and I would know them by name. But of course, when somebody introduces yourself and it's loud and you can't really hear properly. So yeah, basically it's a little bit uncomfortable for me in that, I want to know people. I want to know who people are and everything else. So I'm aware that I'm at a meetup where everybody at the meetup knows who I am, but I don't know who they are. And there's a lot of people who will be there to see me and say hello to me. So, when these 2 guys sort of waved and whatever, I thought, oh, right, okay. And I said, I'll just be with you in a couple of minutes. And then I went over to them and I started chatting with them and I said, hi, how you doing? You having a good day? This, that, and the other, chat. And it was about 2 minutes into the conversation when I realized that they have no idea who I am and they thought I was bar staff. And it was at the point where they said, so are you going to get us some drinks? And and it suddenly dawned on me that these are two guys in the bar. And I'd assumed, because they'd caught my eye, waved at me and sort of called me over, that they were, patron supporters who wanted to speak to me and say hello to me. So slightly embarrassing. It was a little bit strange. However, I then ended up staying and chatting with them for 5 minutes. because they said, "Well, what meetup?" And I said, I've organised a meetup for a lot of people who support. And they said, well, what's that then? I said, well, I said I create a lot of videos online for board games, and I have a lot of people who support me financially to help me create those videos. And a lot of these people are here. I've organised a meetup for them. And he was like, oh, right, okay. And then he said, well, what games? Now, if you're like me, you've had this conversation 100 times before. You get people saying, oh, yeah, what kind of games do you play? And you already know that they will have no idea about any of the games that you mention. So, and I've been in this situation so many times. So basically, I said to them, I said, look, I'll mention a few games to you, but you've probably not heard of these games because they are hobby specialist games. And I said, if I was to say something like Settlers of Catan, Ticket to Ride, Code Names, they were nodding. And they went, yeah, we've played them. I was like, that surprised me. I was like, oh, right. I said, well, in that case, I said, imagine those kind of games times 10,000. So they're not gamers, but they have played those games that I mentioned. They have friends who play games. And then I ended up chatting with them for 5 minutes. They were telling me about the game store in town. So I'm like, wait a minute. It started off as just two guys in a bar. It turns out they have friends who are gamers and this, that, and the other. And then he said, well, why are you here? I said, well, we've got the big fair on. He went, oh, yeah, it's the big games fair, isn't it? So anyway, I then left them alone and spent time chatting with people who I do actually know. But yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I've become Dan's dad and the waiter. We definitely need more gaming rules, shirts, pins, and merchandise. It's on the list of things to do. Yeah, my voice is definitely going. But that's about it. There is very little update today. I can't show you any games other than I can show you Great Western Trail again. I can't even show you Old Tree or Suspects because I didn't want to go to the meetup with a big heavy bag. So what I did was that I've left that bag with CGE. And yeah, I don't have those games. Now, I don't quite know what the plan is. My plans for bringing games back home with me has changed about 3 times, because at one point this morning I was texting Luke and I was saying, Luke, how much space do you have in your car for games? And he said, well, it depends. And I said, so all of the games that I had last night, that big pile of games that I had last night that I showed you on the stream, I said, what about if have you got room for all of those? And he said, yes. I said, what happens if I've got the same amount again? And he said, yes. And I thought, okay, what about 3 times the amount that I showed you last night? And he said, oh, it might be close. But basically, I thought, this is great. I don't need to give any games to Dan. Luke can probably fit all of the games that I'm going to bring back with me in his car. Fantastic. This is brilliant. Yeah, let's go with that plan. So I'm talking to Luke about how we're going to get the games into his car. Then a few hours later, I realized I'm getting a lift back with Luke in the car, but not to my house. I'm getting a lift back to Luke's house, where I am staying for the night, and then I am getting the train back home on the Monday morning. And I don't have the capacity to carry all of those games with me on the train. Okay, so we need to now go back to the original plan, which is I need to pack in Luke's car all of the games that I am physically able to carry on the train and the bus to get home. And that will definitely fit in Luke's car. Everything else will be given to Dan. That will go in the van. And assuming Dan does get back in the country, I will see Dan at the end of August. So yeah, I need to decide which games are definitely coming back with me and which ones I'm going to get later. Now, let me just have a look. Let's just say hello to some people in the chat. So Bruce is here, Mark is here, Films Bomber is here. Am I going to get much sleep? I hope so. My plan is to probably go to bed about 30 minutes from now. Damien's here. Hi, Damien. Good to see you. Thanks very much for popping in. Yeah, plan to be flexible. Oh, my phone's going. I don't know why my phone's going. Yeah, I was wondering whether you would be here, Damien, but I figured that if you were, you would probably have let me know. Pick up another suitcase to put the luggage on the train. Yeah, but then I'm carrying 2 suitcases, a rucksack, and a bag. So yeah, it would be 2. End of August. Sorry, end of October. End of October, I meant. John's here from New Zealand. I don't even know what month it is. Hi, John. Thank you for popping in. What time is it in New Zealand at the moment? Probably quite early. What am I looking up? Google Sheets, my calendar. Right, so Yeah, Danny's apparently coming to Exeter at the end of October, not August. So I will be reunited with all of my other games at that point. So I'm just looking at my calendar now. Right, I get back from Essen on the 18th. Okay, I've actually got quite a lot booked in for the 2 weeks. I will be hopefully finishing up the work on the ISS Vanguard rulebook when I get back. We have an Arkham Horror Living card game session on Wednesday the 20th, and then I am spending all of the 21st and 22nd learning and creating videos for Youthia. The week after, I have rulebooks to do, and I am filming the Weather Machine video ready for the upcoming Kickstarter. I have the monthly vlog to do on the 27th, and I have the live Q&A on the 20. Also on the vlog on the 27th and the live Q&A on the 27th. Then I have some rule books. Then I have games night on the 29th of October. So basically what I'm saying to you is, of all of these games that I'm going to be bringing back with me, the first time you're likely to see one of them on the channel is games night on the 29th of October. And then that weekend I will be seeing Dan, which means I really need to only come home with one game. So I'm very curious to see, and I'd like to know in the chat right now, can I hire a Sherpa? Yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to know which one game out of all of the ones that I'm bringing back with me, or potentially bringing back with me, do you want to see on the channel on October 29th? Now, I'm asking you now out of curiosity. I will actually be producing a poll for my Patreon supporters, and it will be my Patreon supporters who vote on which game is going to get played on October 29th out of the ones that I bring back with me. Quick shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. This video here, well, a lot of the content that I create is only made possible thanks to the support of my Patreon campaign. So if you like the content that I create, please consider supporting me at patreon.com/gaming rules. And thank you to all of the new Patreon supporters that have joined the channel in the last few days. I've seen some emails come through. I normally say thank you personally. I've just been unable to reply to things at the moment. Also, apologies anybody for watching this who has been sending me messages today saying, Paul, when is the meetup tonight? I didn't get those messages at all until I got back. So let's have a look. We have Bitoku, Arc Nova, Bitoku, Messina, Arc Nova, Bitoku, Messina, Arc Nova, multiplayer. This will be, assuming I can find some friends to come round, on Friday the 29th. Messina, Bitoku. Bitoku already has a lot of coverage. That is a good point, Paolo. It would be better for the channel for Arc Nova. See, I generally go with I tend not to think about what games would be best for the channel, but I know what you're saying. Boone Lake, yeah. So I need to speak to Clay from Capstone Games. Clay kept saying come back tomorrow about potentially getting some copies of games, but I'm not going to. He's basically said come back on Sunday. So the problem is I wanted to do all of my packing on the Saturday night. So if I go to him on the Sunday and he gives me hopefully Imperial Steam and Boone Lake are the two that I definitely wanted from him. Then I'm like, okay, I've got 2 extra games. What do I now do with these 2 games if I'm all packed already? So Hilmar saying, let's play Boone Lake on Saturday. Okay, if you've got Boone Lake on Saturday, have I got any plans on Saturday night? Oh, is this going to be a second game that I play? Let me just check. We are going to be sorting out, if I've got another sheet here, what am I doing on Saturday night? Paul's Essen, where he's going at what time, list. Oh, I've got to go back to Richard Denning as well. Yeah, I need to go back to Richard and book a time with him to talk about UK Games Expo stuff. Schedule, here we go. Right, Saturday night. Okay. I am free. Okay, so Boone Lake, Saturday night at the Premier Inn. It's not going to be live streamed, but we're going to play Boone Lake. Thank you very much, Hilmar. We are going to be, that's 2 games I'm going to be playing with you on Saturday. We're going to be playing Golem together, and we're going to be playing Boone Lake on Saturday night. And then we will, I'll tell you what, here's the plan. Let's do Boone Lake on Saturday night, and then you can come up to my hotel room, and we can do a live stream, and you can be a special guest on the live stream, and we can all give our opinions on Boon Lake. How's that? So yeah, special guests on the live stream tomorrow night. I was thinking of getting some special guests tonight, but to be honest, I'm just tired. I just want to go to bed. But that's the plan for tomorrow night. Okay. What was I talking about? Oh yes. So yeah, games that people want to see on the channel. Yeah, it is the usual suspect. It's Messina, Bitoku, Ark, Nova, and Boon Lake if I manage to get a copy of it. Yeah. Any other? Right. Okay. So they're the four. I will try to make sure that those are the four games. I will definitely get those four games in my suitcase, assuming I do get a copy of Boon Lake. So those four games, I will make sure come back with me. Certain other games that I've got, and my copy of Spirit Island, for example, Spirit Island can go back in the van with Dan. I'm not going to need that. In fact, Great Western Trail 2nd Edition. I can't wait to have this at home. Do I need this before the end of October? I do not need this before the end of October. So that can go to Dan. So yeah, Ark, Nova, Bitoku, they will definitely be coming with me. Yeah, so nobody mentioned Golem in the chat. Oh, tomorrow is Friday. Sorry, Saturday. Right. I don't know what day it is. I'm tired. Yeah, I've been thinking it's been Friday all day today. And it's not. Anyway. Anybody got any questions for me? Let's make this a little, because I have nothing else to tell you really today. Yeah, I've only played one game. Oh, actually, no, you're absolutely right, Paolo. It is tomorrow night because it's midnight here. So there's no coverage of Boon Lake yet. Oh, well, that's because they didn't even know they were going to get it. But I tell you what, I'm sure somebody will do some coverage before October 29th. What has been my biggest surprise about being at Essen this year? It's a very good question. Biggest surprise. So my biggest surprise is the fact that I've actually managed to get more than 3 hours sleep a night. That is my biggest surprise. Because and I hope I get another 5 or 6 hours sleep tonight. That'd be great. I'm still wrecked, but I'm less wrecked than if I would have got a few hours sleep. The other big surprise is probably the number of people here that I say I had no idea we're going to be here. It's not that I keep track on everybody. And I do have tracking devices on most people that I know, because when I meet them, I give them the secret hug and I install a tracking device on their back. But there's a lot of people who I know who I don't know their exact whereabouts. And, today I left the hotel. I was stood outside the train station. Chris Marling, Matthew Dunstan, Dave Neal, all great guys. Know them all quite well. Had no idea that any of them were going to be here. And we took a 5-minute walk and we had a chat and things like that. And as I say, I've spent half of the night talking to Dave Neal about Sherlock Holmes stuff. So yeah, I think the other biggest surprise for me is the number of people here that I just assumed I wouldn't see. And even so, me and Dave have just walked back from Fitzpatrick's to the hotel, decided to take a 20-minute walk through the streets of Essen, back to the hotel. And on the way back, I bumped into a couple of patron supporters, a guy called Paul Hula, who used to live down in Devon, who now lives in London. I had no idea he was coming. He must have known I was coming because he's a patron supporter, so he should have got the messages. But yeah, I just saw him wandering out of a barn. I was like, oh, hello, Paul. And me and David just been talking about GridCon as well, and the other Paul is coming to GridCon. So yeah, that was cool. Any new promising publishers? I don't know. I've not had time really to. The only people I've been to see and the only booths I've been to see have been the people who I wanted to go and see and knew they were there. I've not had chance, and I don't know whether I will ever get chance to spend the time and walk around the halls just looking at, booths that I hadn't agreed to already go to. So I'm not sure. So do I regret going? That is a very good question. Because I was, especially with the problems on Monday, and then the continuing problems on Tuesday, there was a part of me that was thinking, do I regret coming? Because I'm behind on rulebook work, I'm behind on other work, I'm going to come away, I'm going to be a physical wreck, and next week I'm super busy. Was it the right idea to come? However, by the end of Wednesday, it was absolutely the right decision. I think from a mental health point of view and from just a few other points of view, it's been very good for me to come here, and it's been very good for me to be part of this again. So no, I definitely don't regret going. How have been the halls? Lots of people bumping against each other. Right, okay. It's hard to describe. If you've been to Essen before, it's wall-to-wall people, and every corridor is literally just a bustle of people shuffling along together. That's how Essen normally is. It is not like that at all. I don't know what the capacity is in terms of percentage of people here, but it's the corridors are a lot quieter. Now, that doesn't mean the booths are empty. Okay, we went to get a game of Siege of Runedale or Rundar earlier on today. All the tables were full. Trying to get a game of Altry, all of the tables were full. We had to wait for somebody. I've helped out on the Detective Society. Most of the tables have been full all the time. CGE, all of the tables are full. Plan B, all of the tables are full. So everywhere I've been, where I've seen demo tables, the demo tables have been full with a line of people. So in that respect, if you are at Essen and you are wanting to see games and get demos of games, it's actually better because you're actually having to wait. You're having to wait less time. Have I played Ark Nova and Bitoku? No. So the only game I've played is Altry. I haven't played anything else yet. So that's how the halls have been. Do I have to pay customs duty on your games when you return to the UK? That's a very good question. I don't know, but these are review copies, so I don't know how that works. I honestly don't know. I mean, should I declare these to UK customs when I haven't paid for them? What about if I had paid for them? Do I have to declare them to UK customs? Are they going to search Luke's car? I don't know. These things are unknown. So yeah, it's a good question. Question 2: if you've played Boone Lake? No. No. So we're playing Boone Lake on Saturday night, and the live show on Saturday night. If you tune into the live show on Saturday night with special guests, we will talk about Boone Lake because we will have played it and we will give you our first impressions of the game. Yes, so there is definitely space in the halls, says Hannah. Dave Neal has some exciting new projects on the horizon. Yes, very, very good. Is it successful for the retailers? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I have a curiosity, and it's a polite thing to ask, but it's too early to tell. Today was just day one. We don't know how busy it's going to be over the weekend. That's what UK Games Expo was like. I think if you've been to UK Games Expo this year, how quiet it was there, I think it's a similar thing here. Is Oathsworn physically there for people to play? Yes, Oathsworn is here for people physically to play. Is it the final version of the game? It is not the final version of the game, but it is a playable version. It's probably the same prototype that Jamie's had for about a year. But it was nice to see people sat down and playing it. Have I had a chance to check out Anunnaki? Nope, I don't know about that one. Oh, Price has popped in. Hi, Price. We are missing you a lot. Price works for Cephalify Games. And he's basically Isaac's the genius games designer. Price is the person who keeps the company running. So thanks for popping in, Price. And yeah, definitely missing you. So Anunnaki, I don't know anything about. Send me some details on Slack and let me know. What's Chris shouting about? Did I miss something that Chris shouted? What have I missed? Oh, he just said hi, but he put it in caps. Have I seen anything that surprised me? So no, but I haven't actually really seen very much. As I say, today was demoing, helping out the booth, and then just looking at a couple of things. I will tell you one game though that a number of people have told me I should check out, which is Iki, which is IKI. I'm just going to look it up on BGG now because I knew nothing about this game, but a few people have told me it's actually really good. Now, it can't be that one. That's 2015. Hire artists, set them up in the market, and acquire prestige in feudal Japan. I'm sure it was Iki. And I think it's Japanese. Maybe this is a new version. Let me just look at it. Does anybody know? Anybody know in the chat about a game called Iki, I-K-I? Because I'm sure that's what it was called. Let me have a look. So Rado has done a run through of it 6 years ago. Okay, Iki 2021. It looks like it has got a new version. So yeah, that must be the game that people are talking about. In fact, Matthew Jude has done a video 9 days ago. So yeah, it's a Grail game, an old game, and it's been reprinted. So there is a new version of Iki. And yeah, I need to have a look at this one, I think. I need to definitely check it out because a few people have told me it is really good. Peter says he's been after it for years. Yeah, a reprint of the 2015 one. Of the games delayed from Essen, which are you most anticipating? Well, I don't know, because Boone Lake I've managed to get, Ark Nova I've got, and Messina 1347 I've got. Are there any other games that I really wanted which have not arrived? Furnace hasn't arrived yet. Arcane Wonders are still waiting for their boxes to arrive, and we don't know when they're going to arrive. And the Bonfire expansion is definitely not going to be here, but Furnace might be here. Favorite thing about this year's Essen so far, says Kenneth. Favorite thing about Essen this year? It's gonna sound cliche. It's the people. It's got to be the people. And I know that's probably the obvious answer, but it really is. And when I say the people, I don't mean, other gamers or patron supporters. I mean the 3 people that are stood on the corner outside the train station every morning. They were here 3 years ago, and they're still here now. I just love them. Yeah. Paolo saying Furnace is so cool. Had it in front of you tonight, being played by 3 friends. Nice. Any sign of new Renegade from Ricky? No, that's not anyway. I can't even remember who's publishing that. Did we get the Siege of Rundar? So no, we didn't get the Siege of Rundar, but we tried to get a demo of it, and we didn't manage to get a demo. No, I don't have any relationship with the people at Ludonort. They have no idea who I am, but I have been given an email address for me to contact with potential review copies of the game. So I'm gonna drop them an email. I don't know whether I'll drop them an email now, but if I don't drop them an email now, I'll probably forget. Did I get a job offer? If so, is it for a promising game? No, I didn't get a job offer, I don't think. But where I am currently with my professional career is I'm not really taking on any new work at the moment. So yeah, I'm in a position where I'm having to turn down work at the moment for a few reasons. And no, I can't think of anybody who's actually approached me this weekend with an offer of any sort of rulebook work or video work or anything like that. That work is definitely slowing down. Well, the rulebook work's not slowing down. The rulebook work is still, I'm getting offers a lot, but in terms of the video work is definitely slowing down. There's a lot of content creators now who are producing lots of videos. A lot of them produce sponsored videos, and yeah, I'm not doing as many of those before. What else? Horseless Carriage. What's that about? Oh, playable and buyable at €50 at the Gigamic booth in Hall 3. What's that then? Is that Iki? I thought it was from one of the French team. So there's 4 French publishers. Excuse me. There's 4 French publishers that are all there. I think it's the Hachette group. Studio H is one of them. What's the other ones? Oh, it's going to bug me now because I went to see them today and now I can't even remember what they're called. I'm going to have to look it up because that's going to really bug me. Right, yeah. Sorry, we are French. So that's icky. So yeah, sorry, we are French. Studio H. Who are the other two games in the Hachette group? Hachette group games. Let me just Google it and see what comes up. Games in it. So it's a book group. Yeah, Hachette is a book group. This isn't going to find it, is it? Or is it? Maybe it will. No. Anyway, they've got an area where it's kind of divided into four. The chat probably knows the answer to this. They're on the floor plans. No, nobody said anything. But anyway, there's four French publishers, and yeah, Icky's one of them. And I can't even remember what the original question was. What sense do I get from the publishers about how they feel about being at Essen? Some major companies opted out. Is it impacting on the sales of small publishers? I will find out more in the next couple of days. I think the ones that I've spoken to today have been. It's okay. They seem okay with it. Nobody I've spoken to has said, "Oh my god, what a complete waste of time! It's been terrible." Sales will be down. That's obvious that sales will be down because there's just a lot less people here. Yeah, it's going to really bug me who the four people are. I'm going to look on the. Let me just look on the floor plan. So Essen Spiel 2021 floor plan, maybe. If I can get a floor plan, the visitor's guide. Here we go. Spiel guide. I'm going to look it up and get you an answer. Unless anybody in the chat. Here we go. So it's Gigamix, Studio H, Funny Fox, and BlackRock, and others. Thank you, Peter. Less kids around. Yeah, so Essen traditionally gets the kids on the Saturday because the kids are at school, generally speaking. So Saturday is the day where you normally get lots of families and kids and everything else. I'm not sure. Ask me on Saturday whether there was lots of kids there. How is the supply chain problems going to affect the publishers getting their product to the US? I can only guess. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that the supply chain problems are affecting publishers getting their games in the EU. Therefore, it's going to be affecting everything. Yeah, that whatever supply chain problems are happening wherever, there's going to be knock-on effects everywhere. So, Messina 1347, there's going to be some delays with that, getting the extra components, the bonfire expansion and things like that. And who knows when they are going to arrive. Anything about Mythwind? No, Mythwind is the game that's on Kickstarter right now from Games, Brendan. But no, they're not here. A lot of games are available at Essen with a later release of Q1, Q2. Yeah, due to shortages. I mean, some publishers are better than others. If we take CGE, for example, they have managed to print enough, I think, of the Lost Ruins of Arnak expansion. That will be shipped out probably through Asmodee UK, maybe within the next few weeks. And maybe people in the UK will get the Lost Ruins of Arnak expansion in November or early December. Maybe. I'm just guessing here. I don't know. But CGE are normally pretty good at that. But as I say, some of the other publishers, they've had really restricted print runs. They haven't been able to print anything, like what they actually wanted. Right, I think it's time that I need to wrap things up. I'm actually getting a bit of a bunged up nose as well, which has just come on suddenly after I sneezed. What's the plan for my return journey? Yeah, well, I'm not going to be in a van with lots of products, so there's going to be no customs or anything like that. Hopefully, we're just going to drive through. Jonathan said he used to play board games with the guy who created Mythwind. Great guy. Yeah. I've spoken to Brendan a few times, and he's a really nice guy. And I did some consultancy work for him on the rulebook for Stars of Akarios. So I think he wants me to do some rulebook consultancy on Mythwind as well. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. TK is asking about Cordoba. Cordoba is on my list to have a look at. I need to have a look at it. Right. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. I will be back tomorrow night with, I don't know. I don't think I've got any plans for tomorrow night. So maybe we should play Boon Lake tomorrow night instead of Saturday night. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll be back tomorrow night. Maybe not as late as this because I do need a bit of an early night. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to all of my Patreon supporters for funding the channel. Take care, everybody. Enjoy whatever you're doing. If you are at Essen, if you are at the show, pop by and say hi, and I'll see you all tomorrow night. Good night.